Hello, my name is Sophie Cousins and I am a writer. And I thought many people might be at home in self-isolation thinking, what a wonderful opportunity to start that great novel that you've never quite got round to. So I thought I would do a little video just to give people some ideas on how they might start writing a book. This is very much for kind of beginners who might not have ever done it before, just to give you a little bit of inspiration about where to begin. So if you're thinking about writing a book for the first time, you'll probably be falling into two categories. So either you don't have an idea, but you just really like the idea of writing a book, or you have an idea, but you just don't know how to start. So in this video, I'm just going to give you a few tips into both those categories. So the first category of people who really want to write a book, but they just don't really know what they want to write or what it's going to be about or where to start. For those people, I would say the most important thing to do is work out what genre you want to write in. Do you want to write crime fiction? Do you want to write romance? Do you want to write fantasy novels set on another planet? And the answer to that question usually starts with, what do you like to read? It's like books that you enjoy reading, you're much more likely to be good at writing. So my first question would be, what type of book do you want to read? What genre is it going to be? And then go away and read loads of that genre, okay? Read just everything you can get your hands on, because it's only by reading books that you realise what you like, what you don't like, what makes you keep turning the page, what makes you abandon a book, and just read with a really analytical eye take notes, say, which authors do you like, why do you like them, what works. So I'd say if you don't know where to start, that would be the beginning for you guys, okay? Next, I'm going to recommend some resources. I'd say before you start writing, there's a couple of great books you can read that give you a really good insight into how story works and how story is structured. So this is Save the Cat Writes a Novel, which is brilliant. Also, Into the Woods, a 5-act journey into story. These kind of books, they just really break down types of story, how stories told, why stories tend to work in 3 or 5 acts. And it sounds like it's quite over intellectualizing, but it's really, really not. They're written in a very easily digestible way, and I'd say that it's a very nice introduction to getting your head around how to begin to structure a story. Next up, I would say write a plot plan. This can be really, really simple, but once you know what you want to write about, even if it's just one side of A4, beginning, middle and end, just lay out a very rough structure about where your book is going. I think it's very easy to get lost and to get sort of 5,000 words in and then just suddenly feel a little bit directionless if you don't have these markers that you're aiming to get to. Some people do a very, very thorough chapter, beat by beat. They know exactly what's happening on each page. I don't like to write like that. I'm a bit more whimsical. I tend to have actually these plot cards which are colour coordinated by character, and I put them all over my wall, and it all moves and changes. No one sticks to it until the end, but it gives you something to begin with. It is about practical steps. I'd then say the next most important thing you can do to get started is you need to set a word count, okay? You need to set out how many words you are going to write each week, and you need to stick to it like glue, okay? If I told you to run a marathon tomorrow, some people might be able to, most people won't be able to. But if you just walked a mile a day, you would eventually have done the distance of a marathon. That is what writing a book is like, okay? So you need, what I did with my last book, I said 5,000 words a week, and that I only had the evenings to write it, so I knew that broke down as roughly 1,000 a night if I wrote for 5 nights. And in that situation, you have to compromise, and if someone asks you to go out and you haven't done your word count, you can't go out. The great situation about self-isolation is no one's going to be asking you out. You've got nowhere to go, you've got nowhere else to be, you've got no excuses, okay? So set yourself a realistic target, even if it's writing 300 words a day, or 1,000 words a week, whatever it is, just set a realistic target and then stick to it. And if you don't stick to it, you need to make it up the next week and give yourself a slap on the wrist, because you'll only get it finished if you stick to the word count. What was my next tip? The next tip is to set time to write. Okay, so rather than just either get up in the morning and do it first thing, set yourself a time in the evening, depending what other commitments you have, if you have children obviously, or a job that you're trying to do, even if it's literally half an hour before bed or half an hour first thing in the morning and you're doing 300 words, it's just, that's got to be your writing time and you've got to make time for it. And that, for some people, they like to write in the same place every day and that gives them the structure. But I'd say that would be a really important thing to know at the beginning of the day, when is your writing time and how much you're going to write. The next great piece of advice that I was given is, the first draft is just you telling the story to yourself. So don't worry if it's not very good, okay? Every writer will tell you the first draft is not very good. You've just got to get through it and get the beginning, middle and end on paper, and then you go back and make it good. And so don't try and re-edit everything. Don't read a chapter over and over again and try and make it perfect. You've just got to get it finished. The hardest thing about writing a book is getting it finished. And editing is a whole nother ball game. I'm not going to go into that, but don't over edit too early on or you'll get stuck and you'll never finish. Final piece of advice, it's not easy. If it was really easy to write a book, there would be so many more millions in the world. I mean, I know there already are a lot, but it is hard. It is hard. So if you really want to do it, you've just got to set the time aside, do the words, and accept that some days you're going to have a bad day and you're going to write rubbish and you're going to think, why am I doing this? But if you keep on going, it's like getting fit. If you keep on going for a walk or a run every day, eventually you will get fit. And it's the same about writing. Finally, I would say seek out the writing community. If you go on Twitter or Instagram, there are some lovely, I mean, this is just a few that I follow, but Am Writing and Writing Community, lots of other writers online trying to do the same things as you, really, really supportive. And it's great to see other people struggling and other people finding it hard and other people motivating each other. So that is my top tips on how to start writing your book during self-isolation. Good luck. And yeah, let me know how you get on.